How to Build a Scalable Business, a series of incisive, step-by-step videos for the leaders of SMEs brought to you by Planned Ascent. Part 2. Safeguard your business ownership. Hello, and welcome to this second video in our series. I'm Tim Cornell, founder of Planned Ascent. In this series, we'll provide a complete guide and toolkit to help you, the founding entrepreneurs and leaders of established SMEs, build scalable businesses. In this video, we consider safeguarding your business ownership, specifically the arrangements you put in place with shareholders and key employees to protect and future-proof the shares in your business, the equity it's created, and the personal and professional relationships at the heart of it. Key areas we'll explore in this video are legal aspects of business ownership and issues you need to consider, risks of shareholder inaction, employee ownership, why it matters and challenges it presents, how to get started, next steps, and helpful links. Let's explore these and related issues in more detail. Legal aspects of business ownership, issues you need to consider. Ownership is the first of three issues at the centre of our growth mapping framework, and for good reason. Properly managed, it can and should forge shared and sustained commitment to a business. Yet neglect can just as easily lead to disputes and the destruction of value and friendships. I can say this with real conviction because I've witnessed it firsthand on more than one occasion. The legal aspects of ownership start at the incorporation of your business with the Memorandum and Articles of Association. Many businesses simply adopt model articles when they register and leave it at that. Whilst this may be a reasonable first step, they're a one-size-fits-all solution, applicable to all directors and shareholders, and the contents are placed in the public domain. There are issues to consider that might best be dealt with separately to the articles, that may only apply to the founding shareholders, or that you may want to keep out of the public domain. There are equally scenarios that you hope will never happen, that you should also consider. Such issues can be addressed in a shareholders agreement, which is a private contract whose provisions can remain confidential to the signatories. The matters you can deal with in a shareholders agreement might include the death or unexpected disability of a shareholder, the consequences of a divorce for shares in your business, instances of shareholder misconduct, a decision by one of your partners that they want to pursue another activity alongside your shared business interests. These are just a few examples, and you can find more detailed information by using some of the helpful links provided below. Bear in mind that a well-drafted shareholders agreement may prevent some of these issues from ever arising, not least because the possibility of them happening is acknowledged, the consequences are considered, and remedies are agreed and made legally enforceable. Remember also that the absence of a shareholders agreement may prevent a business from raising new funding, as investors will not want such critical issues left to chance. You should also take expert advice, which we're not qualified to give, regarding which issues are best dealt with in the articles and which in a shareholders agreement. This will ensure that the two are compatible with each other and prevailing law, and so will deliver the outcomes you want. Risks of shareholder inaction for you and your business. The point at which some of these issues first begin to disrupt a business may not be clear. For example, growing frustration at a business partner who gradually increases the amount of time they devote to running a parallel activity. Whenever they start to show up, these sorts of issues can quickly generate a lot of energy, fueled by powerful emotions such as anxiety or fear about the consequences for the business or the people it employs, guilt that you haven't got a satisfactory solution in place, or even jealousy. The particular nature of family businesses can add further and complex relationship dynamics. If there's already substantial equity or intellectual property in the business, this may amplify the emotions and energy involved even more, all of which can make ownership issues particularly hard to manage reactively, and amicable decisions may quickly start to feel out of reach. To safeguard your business ownership, be proactive. Create a shareholders agreement at the earliest opportunity and review it periodically thereafter. This will ensure all parties' continued consent as your circumstances and business evolve. The risks of inaction are simply too great. Employee ownership: why it matters and challenges it presents. One very significant reason why employee ownership may hold great importance for you is that it forms part of your vision as a founder and owner of your business and reflects your personal values. Another is that ownership issues can affect employees' sense of fairness, motivation, their performance and well-being. Furthermore, prospective investors may insist that arrangements are in place to retain and incentivize key directors and managers on whom future revenue and profit streams depend. So if you're looking to scale your business, this is likely something you will need to think about. Some companies use arrangements such as employee ownership trusts to embed employees' interests at the core of their purpose, vision, and culture. In the right circumstances, this can create a win-win, enabling founders to plan and fund an exit that's consistent with the legacy they want to create, and employees to feel that they have a meaningful stake and some control over their futures. You can find out more about the range of solutions available and where to source appropriate expert advice using the links provided below. For some, employee ownership will be an area they're neither familiar nor comfortable with, if only because the options available and their relative merits are subject to changes in legislation and taxation. The perceived cost and complexity of coordinating different advisors have also acted as barriers to enfranchising employees, particularly in small and medium-sized companies. Once established, any arrangements will introduce an ongoing requirement to manage any scheme and communicate with relevant employees about developments that may affect their participation or expectations. This too can prove off-putting. Typically, the majority of employees don't understand the options for employers to enfranchise them either, including the associated rights, obligations, and restrictions these create. They may feel overwhelmed by their apparent complexity and be unable to compute the value to them, which reduces their power to motivate. Some may equally have developed expectations as the company grows that are unrealistic and cannot be met. Despite these challenges, the risks of inaction are, once again, high, especially in sectors where talent is scarce and the focus of intense competition. Happily, there are now digital platforms and service providers that seek to simplify the end-to-end process of designing, implementing, and managing an appropriate solution, one that will scale with your business and help you manage expectations. A helpful link to one such platform is provided below, albeit we're not in a position to recommend one provider over another. In summary, ownership issues can generate powerful emotions that can act either as a force for alignment or as a hidden and destructive brake on your business. This strength of feeling can arise between shareholders and with key employees whose continued contribution is key to your future success and value creation. To ensure this energy is channeled in the best interests of your business, be proactive. Identify those issues that apply to you and agree and document how you will deal with them. How to get started. Our recommendations. To build a scalable business, start as you mean to go on where ownership arrangements are concerned. Invest time with qualified experts to explore the issues above and others that may be relevant to your context. Don't wait until issues arise because they will likely be more complicated and expensive to resolve. Instead, act as soon as you're able to protect and sustain the relationships that brought you together in the first place and those that have created value for you since. Next steps for both of us. We hope this brief overview of business ownership arrangements has given you food for thought or provided a timely reminder and prompt to take action. Please leave any questions or comments below along with your rating of this post and check out the links that follow for useful sources of information, further insights and help. If you want to understand more about how we can help you build a scalable business, book an exploratory call using the button provided. We'll be delighted to talk to you. You can also check out the client testimonials and case studies on this website. The next video in this series, How to Build a Scalable Business, Part 3, will look at the second issue at the centre of our growth mapping framework, your business model. Thanks for joining us today, and we look forward to connecting with you again soon. Helpful links. Here, as promised, are some helpful links to help you quickly connect with useful sources of information, tools, and advice to help you safeguard your business ownership in whatever way is right for you. You can also book an introductory call, subscribe to this blog and our YouTube channel, visit our website, or access the audio track from this video on Soundcloud.